Hello everybody and welcome back to Cask and Point. Today we're doing a very fun blind. We are trying 4 different Kings of Kentucky. Now King of Kentucky has always been a pretty great unicorn of mine. As you guys know, for my 1,000 subscriber special back in March, I went out, got my first bottle of it, cracked it, and it was just such a fun video to do. And in the last few months, I've really been getting into the different vintages of them because King of Kentucky actually only goes back to 2018. So there are only 8 different vintages that exist. There's supposedly really meaningful differences in them because obviously we have all these different warehouses at Old Forester. We have G, we have J, we have K, we have H, we have all these other ones. And so these Kings of Kentucky tend to feature one or the other. So today we're going to be trying all these different ones and we're going to find out which one is truly the best. We're starting off here with 2025. This is a Warehouse J 134.5 proof. So I believe it's the 3rd highest proof so far that I've seen from the vintage. It might end up being like 4th, 5th, 6th as we find out a little bit more. But right now it's the 3rd, very high in proof, and Warehouse J has usually been a favorite between J and G because in 2024, last year, they also did a mix of J and G warehouses. And J was just overwhelmingly the favorite in 2024, so people expect in 2025 it's probably going to be the favorite again. And that could be because the J warehouse is floor 4, the G warehouse is floor 1, might just be getting a little bit more flavor out of those extra floors. Who really knows? 2023 is going to be all G, so it is kind of weird they have 3 consecutive vintages of G warehouses, and then 2022 is actually going to be Warehouse H. Floor 7, absolutely love Warehouse H, and this is actually also a really short barrel. It's a 58 bottle yield, 132, 133 proof. So like I said, I'll put all the information on your screen as we're drinking them and everything, but this is going to be a very fun blind to do, and this is probably the first time this has been done on YouTube. I don't know if anybody's a little bit screwed up in the head enough to really go ahead and do this. I have not seen somebody else blind King of Kentucky vintages before, so we might be the first. But anyways, thank you all so much for joining me for what is honestly going to be hopefully a pretty epic video here. I'm hoping we get at least 2 or 3 of these, maybe even all 4 in the 9s. We might even see some mid-9s here. We're gonna find out. Let's get in here to sample number 1. So obviously I don't know what this is. You guys know what this is. And I do know the 2024, and I have tried the 2023. The 2025 and the 2022 are fresh cracks. So I have absolutely no idea what those are supposed to taste like, what they will taste like. And I don't think I could meaningfully guess between these two anyways, because these are both G warehouses, and then we have a J, and then we obviously have the H. So yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna enjoy the whiskey and not think too much about what exactly we're drinking. On the nose here, there's an incredible like orange cream. Obviously an incredible rich oakiness to it. Some real serious baking spices on this, some allspice. It smells hot. Now, this is not a soft pour at all. Obviously these are all cask strength pours. All of these are above 130 proof as well, so yeah, we're dealing with some pretty serious proofs here. They're also relatively short barrels as well, so I think the highest yield is like 80-ish around here. So I tried to aim for the shorter barrels, the higher proof, stuff like that. People seem to think that those tend to be better Kings of Kentucky. They do command a little bit more in the secondary market, but not that much more in the secondary market, so who knows? Anyways, this is absolutely delicious. Vanilla cream, rich oak. That's really what I'm getting on this. Let's take a sip. Wow, just fills the palate. My God, super sweet oak on the forefront, goes into that like orange marmalade, vanilla bean. Oh my God, those like are really working in tandem together super well. Wow, that's pretty niche of a flavor profile actually, because I have said before, the 2024, when I tried it, I really thought it was like just the classic Kentucky flavor profile here. It was cherry, oak, caramel, vanilla. Like it was just totally standard. That is actually much more niche. So again, probably not the 2024, but who knows? I don't have enough experience with these. I haven't had King of Kentucky that much, but maybe that'll change in the coming months and years. This is delicious. We are in the 9s on this one. It is doing that orange cream and rich oak flavor profile like just incredibly well. So much depth to that orange there. I mean, I still have the orange in my mouth. It's clearly a long finish. Like this is not short to medium. This is a long finish. Orange cream, orange marmalade, getting a little bit of orange rind in there as well, but not in a bad way, but just in an extra like adding complexity kind of way. Oh my God, here, let's take a second sip. It's just super viscous. And on that second sip here, got a little bit of cherry on it, a little bit of stewed fruits on it. Still primarily that kind of orange candy, orange marmalade, vanilla bean, vanilla cream, super rich oak structure, and then some spices really take you out. But they really still hold that sweetness throughout the... Oh my God. All right. All right. That's a good bottle of whiskey here. That is a great start. Let's go on to glass number 2. Hey, this one's also hot. King of Kentucky is not a forgiving whiskey. This is not a whiskey for beginners. This is a whiskey for people that really, really want to honestly spend way too much money on whiskey, but can really, deal with cask strength well. Okay, this is a little bit more of a typical flavor profile on the nose here. I'm definitely getting a ton of rich oak, but I'm also getting vanillas and caramels and some cherry on there. And as I get into it, there is a little bit of that anise going on, kind of like black licorice, really rich oakiness. Definitely some cardamom on this one, definitely a little bit of nutmeg, cinnamon. Okay, it smells hot. Oh my God. I mean, I guess they both smell really hot, but this one smells even hotter. Wow, okay, that smells interesting. Let's take a sip. Oh, okay, that is proofy. That has a ton of oak on it. Has a nice berry stewed fruitiness on it. I'm gonna immediately say, don't think I like it better than glass number 1. I think it's a similar idea. I could tell the oak is kind of similar on that one. Honestly, not liking it as much as glass number 1. Like glass number 1 is honestly, it's special. I mean, wow. But this is a more classic flavor profile on this one. Like, this isn't orange cream and vanilla bean. This is more cherry, stewed fruits, tons and tons of oak on it. And I have talked to a few people. Some of them think that Kings of Kentucky end up having like just such strong oak that it almost gets tannic. Sometimes people think it even gets like a little bit like a Sharpie. I don't think that. I do think they are very oaky, and sometimes unforgivingly so, but I don't think they get like a Sharpie note on it. Like the Sharpie note, I know some people say they get on Elijah Craig barrel proofs. I also don't really get it on Elijah Craig barrel proofs. I do get that Sharpie note on a lot else, so I think I know what they're talking about. I typically think Kings of Kentucky are just really, really good, but hey, you know what? If you decide that you don't like King of Kentucky one day because of that note, that's great. You just saved all of them. I mean, these bottles are not cheap bottles. The cheapest bottle here is probably $1,800 on the secondary market. The most expensive is probably about $2,100. So yeah, these aren't cheap bottles. We probably have about $8,000 of whiskey here sitting on the table. So yeah, it's fun. All right, let's take a second sip here. Wow, super rich and oaky. Kind of tight. I'm wondering if that might be one of our fresh cracks here. Now, I did crack these yesterday, and then I let them air out a little bit, but I know obviously one day might not be the best. Possible that is affecting it, but honestly, I just also want to get the 2025 video out quickly for you guys because, I don't know how many people are out there really looking for a 2025 King of Kentucky video, but that just released like last week or 2 weeks ago. So, you know what? This is probably one of the first King of Kentucky 2025 videos as well, because I like to be quick. I like to be on top of my videos when I can. But anyways, it's really good. It's a little tight, more classic flavor profile, tons of vanilla cream on the late palate there. Definitely a still very long finish. I like it. I think I like glass number 1 more. Let's go on to glass number 3. Okay. This is rich and oaky. And I will say, the color on it is actually just like a little shade darker than the rest. I'm not sure if you guys can really tell that on your end. But it's definitely slightly deeper orange on it, for whatever that's worth. Wow. I mean, the oak on it is just so pleasant. Okay. That's really good. That is really, really good. Okay, I'm getting rich oak, I'm getting anise, I'm getting licorice, I'm getting the cardamom, I'm getting a similar oak structure to glass number 2. But I'm getting more vanilla cream on it, a little bit more stewed blackberry, stuff like that. Let's take a sip. Wow. Okay. It's really oaky. But actually, as I get into it, the fruit on it is interesting. It's almost like a watermelon note that I'm getting off of it. Huh. That's not what I was expecting. It's like really rich oak, tons of vanilla, tons of caramel, the stewed fruit, stuff like that. But then there's this like tropical fruitiness on it. Okay. We're in business. I mean, we've been in business this whole time, but we are really in business with that one. I'm immediately thinking I like it more than glass number 2. Glass number 1 though. My God. My God. I don't know what's up with glass number 1. It is a more niche flavor profile, I think, relative to 2, 3, but glass number 1 was really good. That's definitely in the 9s. This might be high 8s. This is possibly somewhere in the middle, possibly better than glass number 1 here. I think we need a second sip. Wow. I mean, just a bouquet of notes on this. And the thing is, I talk about oak a lot. I know that oak is obviously a note that we get on a lot of whiskey. But the oak that you get on this, it's like a toasted bread. It's like a barrel char. Oh my God, it's so deep and rich. And it's also sweet. And it's like a very sweet vanilla kind of oakiness to it. And that's in the backdrop of a ton of spice, a really nice, rich, fruity character to it. And again, a little bit of like that watermelon, pineapple. That's weird. Let's take a second sip here. All right. It's super oaky. As you guys expected. It kind of has a little bit of the short barrel characteristics to it. See, my hot take here is that I actually don't love short barrels that much. I don't think whiskey's consistently better when it's a short barrel. I think short barrels tend to get a kind of oakiness to it that's almost akin to like a small barrel, where it's just really tight and a little bit too tannic. This is borderline that. I do think this is a short barrel. I don't think it's really suffering from what I think short barrels can suffer from, but it's getting close. It's kind of messing with it a little bit. As of right now, I think I like it more than glass number 2, but I do think I like glass number 1 more than both of them. But again, I think these might change a little bit as we go back through, because I do tend to also really lean towards glass number 1 in these blinds, and then we go back and I say, wow, actually, you know what? Glass number 1 maybe, might change a little bit relative to the rest. So we'll hold on to that. Let's go on to glass number 4. Wow, it's rich, it's oaky, there's cardamom, there's an... I love different vintages of things. I love comparing different batches. As you guys know, I've tried every single Elijah Craig batch. I've tried every single Stag batch. I will one day try every single GTS batch. I've tried every single Thomas Hendy batch. I love doing these things. But a lot of times when I actually get to do them, I realize, you know what, the difference isn't that great. There's a reason why, the price difference on these isn't, one is $1,400 and the other one is $3,000. The price difference on these is pretty close. I mean, they're relatively worth the same, even though, some might be short barrel, some might be higher proof, they're all worth around the same. And I think there's good reason for that. But I still have fun trying all these different things, and I hope you guys have fun joining me with this. But all right, yeah, very rich oak on this one, tons of vanilla, probably more vanilla than the others. A little bit of fruitiness on it, mostly like a berry compo on it. A little bit of jam on this one as well. It's opening up to more and more fruit. It is nice. It's almost like a Stag Junior kind of fruitiness on it, but obviously much deeper, and then the background of a way oakier profile. So, okay, it's good. Let's take a sip. Wow. Oh my God. That is oaky. We had oak before. That is the oakiest of the bunch. You cannot have King of Kentucky if you don't love oak. I think the youngest of these, probably 15, 16 years. Obviously, the 2025 here is 17 years. And we have not seen that old on pretty much any King of Kentucky before. I think we had a very small stint of 2022 barrels that were actually 18 years old. They're known as like unicorn, like gold label batches. And those barrels are like $6,000 if you can. Like I've never even seen one for sale. They're that rare. They're only like, I don't know, maybe 5 barrels. They're all short. Not an easy bottle to get. That was an 18-year King of Kentucky. These are 17 years old, so that's very promising. Very oaky. Obviously, I mean, I have no idea if this is 2025. I haven't tried the 2025 yet, but Clear oak presence on this one, stronger than the rest, in my opinion. Let's take a second step here, and let's go back through and let's give some ratings and rankings. Wow. Okay. A very pleasant second sip here. Tons of oak, vanilla, definitely getting some stewed fruit on it. I will say, I think the one that stands out the most to me is going to be this glass number 1. I think it had the most unique flavor profile of them. I think glass number 3 probably had the second most unique. But I think they're all pretty similar. Actually, the difference here is actually, it's not that great. I think the best of the worst might be like a 0.2, 0.3 difference here. Yeah, maybe that's why this is probably the only King of Kentucky different vintages video on YouTube. But, oh well. Let's go back here to glass number 2. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I'm trying to say that, you know, there has to be winners and losers in life, but nah, there are no real losers in this bottle. I mean, these are just absolutely gorgeous bottles here. Also, fun fact, I actually do have a 2019 King of Kentucky, and this is the typical spot where I put a King of Kentucky bottle before I had this many, and I was going to throw that into the blind, but I figured 4 was enough for today, but soon enough, if you guys want to see, I mean, it's going to take a few months to prepare, but at some point I will likely do a blind with all 8 of them. 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, 25. We'll do all of those at once. Probably the only person to do all of those at once in a video. That'll be a lot of fun. So let me know if you guys want to see that down below in the comments. But all right, let's take this sip here. Wow. It's amazing. It's oaky. I will say, I think it has some cherry in it, some stewed berries in it. I think it's a more classic Kentucky profile to it. I think it's very good. I don't think it's like the most amazing thing I've ever had. And I will say, an interesting note that I'm thinking of here, the Barton 18 blind that I did a few months ago with all those single barrels that are like $500, you got a similar idea on those. And I just think that whiskey this age at cask strength is just so rare. I know a lot of people really didn't love paying $500 for Barton 18 single barrels, but honestly, if you like King of Kentucky, if you like you just cannot find that much old whiskey that's cask strength, that's that kind of quality. So, now I will say for value, those Barton 18 picks, I mean, I picked one here. This is a dream barrel pick right here. Honestly, this is really close to what we're trying today. I can't confidently say right now that it's better than any of the 4. I will say, though, that I think it's pretty close, and you know what? In a blind, it might get interesting. Maybe I should have tossed that into the blind. Maybe we'll do another King of Kentucky blind at some point, and I'll toss that one into the blind just to see how it does. At $500, that's just absolutely killing it for value. So, I don't know. But anyways, this to me is going to be an 8.9. Really good, but I think there's better. But all right, let's go back to glass number 3. It's oaky. Oh, wow. The vanilla cream on it is nice. And there is a weird, like, tropical note on it that I'm really jiving with. Wow. Wow. So much oak on that. Oh my god. That is so oaky. I assume one of these last is probably the 2025, just based off that oak, but I guess the other ones aren't that much younger, so who knows. But just tons of oak on that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is a tough blind. This is it's not that different on these 4, which I think that's what they're going for. You know, these are single barrel products, but at the same time, and they're really, you know, very cherry picked, as cherry picked as they come. So really, they're going through and picking about 60, 65 barrels every single year, and these are meant to be the best barrels of the entire warehouse. And look, the MSRP in this bottle is like $300-$400. They only make like 4,000, 5,000 bottles because, like I said, they're only like 60 something barrels of them. So look, they're really good. They're really, really delicious. I'm gonna rate that a 9.0. But I think, again, I think there's better here. But I think this is a fun blind. This is really good. This one here is just so unique with that orange vanilla cream. I mean, wow. I'm just kind of blown away by it. I think right now, this is my favorite of the four. And you know what? It's starting to open up to like a cherry candy as well. Wow. That's rich and that's deep. Oh my God, let's take a sip. Wow. That's a showstopper. That's phenomenal. So it has a similar oak structure to these other two, but it starts getting into this funky, fruity flavor profile to it. In the beginning, it was more orange cream, vanilla. I still got some of that on this, second go around, but I started getting these funkier fruits to it too, like this peach, this apricot, stone fruit to it. I started getting a little bit of the cherry. I started getting a little bit of that stewed dark fruitiness on it. I started getting some of that watermelon weird thing that I got on the glass 3 the first time. Wow, that's a complicated pour of whiskey. And that is an amazing pour of whiskey. All right, I think that's number 1. I'm going to rate that a 9.3. Let's go on to glass number 4. They're all oaky. They're all really oaky. Let's take a sip. Wow. Super oaky. I do think it's oakier than the rest. Doesn't mean it's the oldest, which means it's really oaky. Tons of vanilla cream. Tons of dark fruit. Not the most unique flavor profile, but it's really good. It is really good. I think it's my second favorite. I think I'm at an 8.9, 9.0, 9.1, 9.3. I think I'm happy with those ratings. We have consumed 3 ounces of King of Kentucky in this video. I poured right exactly about 3/4 of an ounce into all of these. And that's, it's not a cheap video. So let's just say, please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, every single thing. I mean, the channel isn't that big. And so when you just like the video, you might not think you're one person, it might not make a big difference. It does. It actually makes a huge difference with one single like. So like the video if you can. I would really appreciate it, especially if you made it this long anyways. But let's find out what we're having. So in glass number 2 here in last place, I guess there's no true last place here, but for an 8.9, we have the 2025. That's not good. I was hoping that the 2025 was going to be a little bit better. All right, I'm going to assume that some of that might be because it's a fresh crack. Last place. All right, well, that bottle is $2,000 on secondary right now. And might not be that great. All right, well, let's move on to glass number 3 here. That's the 2023. Okay, wow. So we have the 2024. We have the 2022. Now, I will note 2024 has had the most time to open up, and that, again, could be playing a little bit of a factor. But that 2023 has been open actually for about 2-3 weeks. So that one actually, it's at its time, and it's very good. It's a 9.0. I mean, absolutely delicious bottle here, and weird fruitiness to it that keeps changing. When I first went around to that one, honestly, it was more of like an orange cream, and then as I really went back into it, it's definitely changed a little bit. So I don't know, it's a fun barrel, and I think a lot of these are going to change after the neck pour, and I think a lot of them will change just, really what you've had that day, what you've eaten that day. I think it could really affect these things. They're so complex. There's so many different attributes that you could end up pulling on, so that's fun. Let's go on to glass number 4. That's the 2024. All right, so our winner here is the 2022. Okay, so the 2022 is probably the most popular of these 4 vintages. I guess that's not a surprise here. 2024 being in second place is probably the biggest surprise. Could be because it's been open for like 6 months and the rest of them weren't open for that long. But on the neck pour, the 2022 still won. So that's an amazing bottle of whiskey. I mean, that is insane here. And not only is 2022 a particularly popular year because, again, this is an H7. So Warehouse H is really popular. I actually really love Warehouse H. My favorite warehouse, I think, in the entire Old Forester profile. Not only that, it is location 7, floor 7. And not only that, but this is a 58 yield, 133 proof it looks like. So wow, very high, 133.7. So yeah, I mean, that's just an especially good barrel statistically from an especially good run, and I guess it won, and it won by a decent margin, so I guess we shouldn't be that surprised. But anyways, that was King of Kentucky here. This was not a cheap video, but I had a lot of fun. This is such a blessing to get to try all these things. I could not have done any of this without you guys. You guys that subscribe, that support the Patreon, that do all these things, I mean, you guys have really given me so many amazing opportunities, and I could not be more grateful. But anyways, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.